All right, so for reading today, we finished up Number the Stars. I was pretty excited to finish that up. I felt like I accomplished something. So now we are going to talk about a few things the next couple days. We're going to wrap it all together and see what fits and what doesn't fit. We're going to explore if we have any questions and just have a little bit of discussion about the book. Before we do that, though, we're going to do one more lesson here on power. We're going to talk about power from the lens of power. So, who had power in this book? So, power is like who's in charge, right? Who makes the rules? So, as I was reading Number the Stars, pretty much most of the book, I was thinking that the Germans had power, right? You were thinking that they came in, that they overtook Denmark, that they were in charge of who could walk the streets, and they were questioning everyone, and they would just take people if they wanted to take them. They had a lot of power, right? They made those rules. They were in charge. People followed their rules, right, to stay safe. Um, but as I was reading towards the end here, and Uncle Heinrich was telling Anne Marie about the drug that the scientists made in order for or so the dogs couldn't sniff out people. I started to think a little deeper. Do you think that there's other kinds of power? Hmm. So I want to think about that for a second. Are there other kinds of power? So yeah, there can be power of like friendships, right? So Peter and Anne Marie's family with the Ellen's family, they all have that power of friendship, right? And then the scientists behind the scenes that were secretly making this drug, they had power too, but nobody knew it, right? It was all a secret until the very end when um, Uncle Heinrich was telling Anne Marie about it, right? So there's so many different forms of power. So when you're reading a story, I want you to really stop and think about power and investigate who's in charge, who's making those rules, and how does it change throughout the story when you're reading, right? But I also want you to think about resistance. So when we have this power, who's resisting it, right? Who is questioning? Who what is their power when they do question it, right? So we know that Peter and or Liz, Lizzie, um, Emery's sister, remember we couldn't figure out her name, had their resistance group, right? And they were trying to fight back against the Germans, and that's actually how her sister died, was that resistance group, right? But what kind of power do those resistance groups have? Do they have power, just maybe in a different form, right? So power can be really important in finding the meaning of the book. Who has power? We got to make sense of that. Who has the power and who resists it? Who fights back? And what does that power mean? And what does that mean for the book, right? So I want you to really think about that now as we come to the end of Number the Stars. And then I will have an activity listed below that you are going to work on related to the power Number the Stars.